I'm really happy and honored to be here today, and actually for a lot of reasons. I could be more happy if Greece played better in the morning, but if we win Argentina, I will feel better. So let's see what happens. I'm very happy because when I came 2 years ago to North America, in Canada, I didn't see a lot of inspiration and thought leadership in the Greek-Canadian community. So when Greg called me and explained to me what's happening, I really loved it. And not only that, but because I was so jealous that we didn't do anything similar in Canada, I have connected with different people, and we are planning to do the same or similar conference in Toronto next year. So we would expect your participation and support so we can have it in both United States and Canada. The other reason that I'm happy is that I'm going to talk to you about things that we do different versus what you know about Coca-Cola. Usually you know our company because of great commercials, good marketing, nice products, etc., etc. But the truth is we do a lot of other things that for the employees of the company are much more important. And let me start by, I'm sure you know part of this story. Coca-Cola as a brand was invented in 1886 by a pharmacist called Dr. John Pemberton. The brand had and still has all natural flavors, no artificials, and no added preservatives for all those people that think the product is different. And when we started, this time we're serving 9 drinks per day for 5 cents each. So as you know, inflation went long way since. We are the world's biggest non-alcoholic beverage company, and from all the research that's happening lately, we have Coca-Cola as a brand is the company's biggest brand. Some key numbers. We operate at the moment in 206 countries. There are very few that we don't operate. We work in every country with local franchise bottlers, so we get the best out of local knowledge, and this is how we do business. Except Coca-Cola, we have another 450 brands, and actually very few people know about the breadth of our brands. We have around 900 manufacturing plants, 1 million employees globally, and from the 9 servings back in 1886, now we are at around 1.6 billion servings per day. So around 1/4 of total population drinks one of our products every day, which is quite good, actually. Now, of course, I was tempted, and I will have some commercials for you. So I will show you now 2 commercials. One is an iconic commercial that we had back in 1971, and it's called Top Hill. It's a nice commercial. And then the other one, the second one, is the one that was voted as the best commercial during Olympics Vancouver Games. And of course, it links with hockey, which is a big passion of Canadians. And it's a great ad. I'm not sure Americans really love the ad, especially after the final in ice hockey, but the commercial was voted as a great commercial. So let's run the 2 ads.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. That's the real thing. I'd like to teach the world to sing. In perfect harmony. Perfectly. And I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real thing. What the world wants today is the real thing. What the world wants today is the real thing. He shoots! He scores! Shoots! Misses!
It's a good copy, except it's a good copy. The message in the end is symbolic. It applies for hockey and also for our competitors, and that's why we liked it so much. So let me start by, this is a quote from our CEO, saying that in reality, the big trend for the next decade has to do with sustainable environmental innovations. So all big companies need to really do things and protect and help the environment. And we are one of the few companies that have started around 10 years ago really heavily doing things around that. Actually, in 2009, Newsweek voted us as the greenest global company. And actually, both us and our bottlers, so we were #1 and #2 positions in the food and beverage industry, which is great news, but we have a long way to go from there. Let me start talking about what we do more specifically. And it will be a little bit technical, but I'm sure as some of you are entrepreneurs, you will find a lot of good ideas in what I'm saying, because most of the industries that you will discover today did not exist at all 10 years ago, and now they are big and booming. So a lot of new industries are created because of all of the efforts that big companies do. So on water sustainability, we aspire to safely return to communities all the water we use. And actually, when we first said this around 8 years ago, people thought we were crazy. So as you know, probably 80% of a Coke is water, right? So majority of what we use is water, plus we use water in our production facilities. So we have openly said that very soon, for every liter of water that we use, we will return 1 liter back to the community. And we are actually, at the moment, after 8 years, extremely close to achieve it. So at the moment, we use 1.1 liter. So by only 10% reduction, we are going to achieve this target, which is crazy. So let me explain how we do that. The first, in reducing water, there are 3 areas. One is to replenish water, the other is to reduce, and the other is to reuse water. Replenish water has to do with all the conservation efforts that companies do. So what we have done is we have a big partnership with WWF, and with this big partnership, which costs around $20 million per year, we have agreed to conserve the 7 biggest rivers in the world. And we have from Danube River in Eastern Europe to Skeena River in Canada, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a big part of how we are trying to improve the water quality so we can help having better quality water in the world. The other is the rainwater harvesting, and probably you know that in countries where there is a lot of rain, monsoons, etc., we use different systems to collect the rainwater so it can be reused effectively again. And this is a lot of things that we do on the replenishing part. On the reducing and reusing, a big effort that we have now is on reducing the actual water we use in our facilities. So from 2002 to 2007, we have reduced already 20% our water usage, and our target from 2004 to 2012 is to reduce another 20%. So another aggressive target. We use different ways to do it. The most innovative, I would say, it's called dry loop. I don't know if you have ever been to a factory where we produce Coke, but the way the bottles were moving in the factory is through water. So it was like a small lake, imagine, very fast, where waters were moving. We have substituted the water move with the dry loop. The dry loop is using air to move bottles. So now the bottles are moving very fast, actually extremely fast, by using our technique with air. So this is one of the techniques on how we reduce water in our factories. Packaging. I know, and Peter talked before, it's a lot of discussion about what do you do with all this packaging that is around. Actually, our vision is that packaging, in some years from now, is not going to be considered as waste anymore, but it's going to be considered as a valuable material to be used in different things. So again, as with water, we have 3 big areas that we work: reduction of packaging waste, recovery, and reuse of packaging, and I will talk briefly on all of them. On reduce, according to the package we have a lot of different projects going on. So on the glass bottle, the iconic glass bottle of Coke, we have now the so-called ultra glass, which is a new type of glass, which is stronger than the previous glass, but also 40% lighter. So we have a stronger glass and much lighter glass at the moment, which helps very much on the environment. On the fountain business, the biggest waste was the packaging material that we used. So now we have high-yield syrup, which is reducing by 13% our waste in packaging. And then on aluminum, probably you know, with all the work that we do with recycling, how we're trying to recycle aluminum cans, which is a big thing. On PET, and actually to what Greg said before, we have a really big innovation that we actually started only 6 months ago in Canada, and that was the first ever of this bottle. Actually, 1/3 of this bottle is made out of sugar cane and molasses. So it's a completely natural product. And this becomes, in a magical way, and I'm not a scientist to tell you exactly how, a part of our plastic. So except that our plastic was and is 100% recyclable, now we're using 1/3 of our bottle from this, and we expect to go up to 65% in the next 3 years. So that's a really big innovation in using that. And by the way, the production of this bottle produces 25% less carbon emissions in the factory versus the classic plastic bottle. So there are two benefits together. You will have a chance to see this bottle in the break. So we brought some bottles that you can take with you or try. So you can see it. Actually, you don't see any difference, and that's the beauty of it. But we mentioned that it's a plant bottle. The next, which is, I think, the most sexy part of how we use our packaging, is, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but a lot of the PET now is recycled into different types of clothing or other materials. So, by the way, you have in your bags a hat from Coca-Cola. If you turn it on the back, you will see that it says it's made with 5 bottles. Okay, so it's a completely, it's a hat made only from RPET. Now, all the apparel we had during the Olympics was only from recycled PET, and very nice, as you can see, very nice design. So T-shirt, we had 10 bottles, our ski jacket 14, backpack 25. By the way, you will see also in a video later, when our teams had the full apparel, and the only part that was not from recycled PET was the underwear, they were wearing around 100 bottles on them. So you can see now, and that's why I'm telling you about good future ideas. This is a new booming business now because it's a double benefit. You use the plastic, and you have people wearing something which is good and helps the environment. So it's really good. Now, another thing that probably most people think that the emissions that big companies produce are coming mainly from manufacturing. For our industry, that's not true. The biggest emissions are coming from coolers, from refrigeration. And imagine, our company has around 1.2 million coolers around. If you add up all the coolers in the world, there must be a really big number. So again, first time ever in Vancouver Olympics, we introduced our completely HFC-free cooler, which actually reduces the emissions by 78% versus standard coolers. So just to give you an analogy, we have committed, by the way, as a company to replace all those 1.1 million coolers by 2015 with these new coolers. When we do that, it's like eliminating all the cars of Greece, all the emissions of all the cars of Greece. So it's an analogy of 11.5 million cars. Okay, so imagine what would happen when other companies are seeing the benefits and doing the same. We can really substantially make a difference in the world. The other big innovation that the Coca-Cola company had developed is this device that you see below. It's called EMS55. And this device does the following. It understands the consumption pattern of a cooler in the store. For example, if a cooler is in a restaurant, a dining restaurant, where most of the consumption is in the evening, then the cooler, from the opening and closing the door, this device understands the pattern and uses very low energy in the morning and the afternoon, and increases the energy consumption when it expects, or the cooling effect, when it expects people to come. The opposite for coffee shops, for example. So this device only eliminates another 36% the emissions of coolers. So you can understand as a combination, the HFC-free coolers and this device really will make a huge difference in the world. And the last part that I want to talk about, which is also a big thing, is all the emissions that relate with transportation. So there's an easy way to fix it, which is called hybrid electric trucks or diesel electric trucks. In Canada, we're the first ever company to launch 4 years ago from Bombardier, a diesel electric truck which consumes 38% less energy and therefore less emissions. And now we have 300 of them in Canada, and in almost all countries now we are accelerating using those trucks, which also are going to help. So I can discuss long time because there are a lot of very, very relevant subjects related to what we do. What I would like you to do is close with another 2 small videos. One is on what we do with WWF. My big personal passion, except this stuff, is to try to save polar bears. And the reason for that is, I don't know if you're aware, 65% of the global polar bears live in Canada. So 2/3. So we have a big objective to really make a difference with WWF on that. So you will see now our holiday copy, and then we had a big promotion in the end where consumers and us contributed to WWF money to help save the polar bear. So we see that, and then the Olympic video, and I will close.
Collect all 3 Coke Olympic Games bears at iCoke.ca. Help protect polar bears. Donate to WWF Canada at iCoke.ca, and Coke will match your donation.
Open together. Open your mind. Open happiness.
Well, hello, is this thing on? Is anybody listening? A brand new day has begun. The first thing that I want to do, make sure that you feel it too. So I'm not the only one. Come on, lift me up, it's a brand new day. Open up a little happiness today. So I can be someone new. So I can be someone. Come on, lift me up to a better way. Open up a smile on another face. So I can feel something new. Open up some happiness. Open up, feel something new. Open up some happiness. Open up some happiness.
Our uniforms are made entirely from recycled plastic bottles. My jacket has 25 bottles in it. My pants have 11. And whenever I walk around, I think I'm wearing about 120 bottles right now. We're launching a new plastic bottle that's made with up to 30% from plant material. So really the long-term vision is to move the entire system to a completely renewable process.
Sun to shine.
Open ice cold.
Feel something new.
Open today, change tomorrow.
Thank you. For any more information you would like on what I said, you can see at livepositive.com, and you can find a lot of more data. Thank you very much.